Today's discussion, heating and cooling. Let's talk about airflow and air ducting. I don't care how cold you can make your evaporator. It doesn't matter if you choke it down and not give it the air supply. So this system is a Toshiba system with Bryant 5-ton air handlers on the other side of this wall right here. They're 5-ton units. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3, there's 4, and there's a 5th one on the other side of this room. Now let me tell a little more about this story. This was installed by a big company with fans with nice stickers on it with guys with uniforms through Toshiba as one of their distributors. You know, they're distributing through a distributorship through a contractor representing the name of Toshiba and Bryant. This is a 5-ton unit. Now for you guys in automotive, this pertains to cars too. Airflow messes up cars' heating and cooling system. Air ducts, air dampeners, what kind of filter you use can stop the flow of a car's dash and give you less cooling when you need it in the summer, but yet you feel on your hand a lot of air blowing, but it's not enough. Now in this case, this is a 5-ton unit. This is 12 inches from here to here and 9 inches from here, or no, what was it? Oh yeah, 12 inches from here to here, 14 inches from here to here. This is 14 inches by 12 inches on a 5-ton system. Now we pan up. There's only one outlet to this 5-ton vertical air handler on the other side of this wall. That's a 12-inch duct. So you got all 5 tons going through 12-inch ducting. Now they went to this company and they said, hey, we want our ducting done with air socks. So they got air socks. And they say, oh, this is engineered. These are working engineered to give us all the cooling we need. Now this is only a 12-foot, 16-foot sock. And out of the 16 feet, about 15 feet of it has these little tiny holes out of a 12-ton, out of a 5-ton system. So they have 25, 30 tons in this room, 25 tons I think it is, 25 tons in this room. And this room actually only needs 10 tons of cooling. So they were sold a 25-ton system that 2 air handlers just hanging from the walls. If you wanted to put them in here hanging from the walls, you could have cheaply. I can't even, these guys were ripped off so badly on the installation of this. It's really shameful to talk about that a company is allowed to do this. So you got 14 by 12, you got a single 12 for 5 tons. Problem number 1. And when they told me, me and my son, we came in here months ago and we just walked in, and when we turned, we knew there were 5 tons outside, and we looked and we seen this. It's basically just turn around and walk away. There's nothing I can do to that system to make this work any better. It's like if you have a 454 Chevy blown, you know, 1200 horsepower engine on your Camaro, but then you take those dual 1100 CFM carburetors off and you put on a little single Weber off a Yamaha motorcycle on it. Yeah, you have a 1200 horsepower potential motor, but then you put a little carburetor opening the size of a silver dollar on it. That is what's going on here. And this is a crime. A crime against society. Should be capital punishment that this was installed like this. Another problem, they put the venting in this place. Okay, so what do you see here? Well, other than the black mildew mold, but we won't call it black mold because we're not botanists and we can't professionally say that's black mold. Other stuff, unusual growth or whatever you gotta say for legal terms if you were in Florida. Brian Org. So we have this unusual black growth here from the water coming down. Why? Because this is a 70, 80, 90% humidity room. It goes up, You see this ducting does not carry through. It's open to the channels of the floor to ceiling up here. So all the humidity goes in there too. And it condensates into insulation, and all this stuff is wet going all the way back. And it's condensating and turning into water and dripping out here and causing mold growth. Okay, issue number one. This is 12 inches. Well, do you know what this is carried to? So they have this little 12-inch hole. Now their ductwork, the ductwork going through all the way up 24 feet to the ceiling above is, I think 30 inches long and maybe 18 or 20 inches wide. It's the correct size ductwork going to the ceiling. Very expensive, insulated ductwork. You can see the insulation. This is the black insulation on very huge ductwork. And why is the ductwork that huge? Because it goes on to one of those mechanical squirrel cage, huge industrial blowers on the roof with a couple horsepower motor that was meant to flow a lot of air. But what did they do? They spent all that money on that ducting. They have that huge horsepower motor up there to pull a lot of air, only one speed. It only knows high speed only, drawing a lot of power, a lot of energy, a lot of dollars being wasted for this tiny itty bitty little 12-inch ductwork right here. So that all becomes very, very negative. Now, when that becomes negative pressure because of this super restriction right here of 12 inches and 12 inches, it barely flows anything than what it should have required in the first place. But not only that, at the times when it is operating, it draws in air from all the leaks inside the ceiling compartment, all the insulation, dust and everything like that. And when the temperatures and humidity is right, it draws in cool air that comes down onto this hot roof right here, and it turns into water from outside inside this warehouse that has a 24-foot ceiling. This is an 8-foot ceiling, but up here it draws in air through all the pipes, and it turns into condensation from the moisture going through here. And this, when it gets cold in the winter and hot in the summer, you know, it's a mess. So we have a 20-inch exhaust fan on the roof with a huge motor, a big squirrel cage that was meant to flow like 8,000 CFM, and they're trying to pull 8,000 CFM through a 12-inch duct, done by a really nice installation. Charged buku bucks to put in that really beautiful ductwork they put up above. They made it look really industrial and then choked it down to this. And that's also going on way over there on the other side. They mirrored image this, and it's doing the exact same thing. Now, this is not the only problem. In the winter time, the sheet metal is getting cold and this unit is off. It's not needed during the winter time. So the natural gravity flow of air, this becomes a flue, a chimney. And so hot air with high humidity, 80%, 70, 80%, is going up this duct. It's condensating on the inside of the walls, and from outside in the ducting, it's all dripping back down, and it's flooding the area on the roof of here, all over the building. They've done this in several places in the building, where this is going up and basically turning into a tropical rainforest on the inside from condensation because of the method and the way they did this. That's all I have to say about this one. We have massive inefficiencies here, way too much money spent to put in a ducting system and then choke it down with a little tiny 12-inch opening. We have a $100 and some thousand air conditioning system install here with 25 tons of 5-ton Bryant air handlers here, and they're being choked off by a single 12-inch and a 12 by 14-inch intake of air. And this is a crime against our industry. And you know what? The customer says, oh, it doesn't work that good in the summer, but it works. And this is the mentality of a lot of HVAC contractors, that as long as the customer can feel cold air come out of on their hand, it works. We don't care how efficient or whether it works right. Some of them don't even know they're doing something wrong, and this is the honest truth. I live in an area in San Francisco where guys don't do air conditioning for a living. They were all furnace guys. And then now you give furnace guys who just know water column of gas pressure, and it flows, it heat on the customer in a residential house, it's good enough, but you put them into industrial or commercial and they try to do air conditioning for their first time, and this is what you end up with. And even if you were a novice, do it yourself, and you never even touched a thermostat in your whole life, and you never even seen an air conditioner in your whole entire life, and I handed you a paper with the rule of thumbs on it. There's actually a document called Rule of Thumbs for ducting. And if I handed you that paper called Rule of Thumb and you followed the instruction on here, you would have properly sized this ducting on this 5-ton unit, and you as a do-it-yourselfer who never installed ducting in your whole life would have done a better job than these professionals who have big yellow paper ads, lots of vans with stickers all over them, big name with a whole crew of guys in uniforms with patches and badge and name tags and everything like that. You would have done a much better job than these professionals being a do-it-yourselfer for the first time following one sheet of paper. And that's what I gotta say to the guys who did this install. And I know who you are because they let me know. That's all I gotta say. See you. Nice job, guys. 5 tons, 12 inches, really? And guys who paid for this, when I asked them, they told me, oh, they had the system engineered. That's what they were told. They were fed that story. The system was engineered. All right, gentlemen, see you on the next one.